Welcome to the Retirement Wealth Podcast. Today we're diving into a topic that's super important for anyone planning for retirement or, already enjoying it. We're talking about how to claim Social Security benefits strategically.
That's right, Emily. Social Security can be a significant part of your retirement income, but making the right decisions about when and how to claim can really impact your financial future.
Exactly. And, a lot of folks don't realize just how many options they have when it comes to Social Security. It's not just a one-size-fits-all situation.
Absolutely. We'll explore the different claiming strategies, discuss how your age, work history, and even marital status can affect your benefits, and share some tips on how to maximize what you receive.
Plus, we'll touch on common myths and mistakes people make. Things that could potentially leave money on the table.
And we'll also look at how Social Security fits into the bigger picture of your retirement plan. It's all about ensuring you have a comprehensive strategy that supports your lifestyle goals.
So whether you're just starting to think about retirement or you're already there, this episode is packed with valuable insights.
Let's jump right into it. So, Emily, one of the things that makes the timing for discussing Social Security benefits so crucial right now is, the changing landscape of retirement planning. It's not just about how much you save, but how you utilize those benefits.
Absolutely, David. I think a lot of folks don't realize just how pivotal Social Security can be in their overall retirement plan. Given current inflation rates, it's like every dollar counts, right?
Exactly. And with inflation being a real concern, it's important to understand how Social Security benefits are adjusted. For instance, the cost of living adjustments, or COLAs that we hear about, they're designed to help, but, they don't always keep pace with real living expenses.
Right. I've spoken with retirees who thought they were set, but when prices went up, they found their budgets really stretched thin. It's a wake-up call.
Yes, and let's not forget about market volatility. With the stock market swinging up and down, many people are feeling that uncertainty. They may rely more on their Social Security benefits than they planned, which makes it vital to understand how and when to claim.
Totally. I had a conversation recently with a couple who were just about to retire. They were thinking about claiming their benefits early, but when we discussed the long-term implications, it was eye-opening for them. They didn't realize how much they could lose in the long run.
That's a great example. Claiming early might seem like a good idea at first, but the lifetime benefits can really take a hit. If you delay claiming, you can increase your monthly benefits significantly, and that's especially important if you're thinking about longevity in your family.
Yes, and considering healthcare costs is another big piece of the puzzle. With rising medical expenses, depending on Social Security alone can be risky. It's crucial to factor in those potential costs when planning.
Right, and let's not overlook tax efficiency. Many folks don't realize that their Social Security benefits can be taxed. Depending on your overall income, it could affect how much you actually take home. So planning your withdrawals from other retirement accounts alongside Social Security can really make a difference.
Definitely. It's like a balancing act, right? I've seen retirees who are surprised to find out how taxes can eat into their benefits. It's a bit of a juggling game to ensure they're not overstepping their tax brackets.
Exactly. And it's an emotional journey, too. When people feel financially secure, it impacts their overall well-being. I often remind clients that it's not just numbers on a spreadsheet, it's about their peace of mind and enjoying their retirement years.
Yes. I think sometimes people underestimate the emotional side of financial security. Feeling anxious about money can really affect how you enjoy those leisure activities, like traveling or spending time with family.
Absolutely. And speaking of family, legacy planning is also an essential consideration. How you claim your Social Security benefits can affect what you leave behind for your loved ones. It's about creating a plan that not only supports your lifestyle, but also considers those you care about.
That's such a good point. I've talked to retirees who want to leave a financial legacy, but they didn't think about how their claiming strategy would impact those wishes. It's all interconnected.
It really is. And with the current economic trends, like rising interest rates and inflation, it's more important than ever to have a comprehensive understanding of your Social Security options, not just for you, but for your entire family's financial health.
David, I think a lot of people might feel overwhelmed by all of this information, but it's all about taking it step by step, right?
Exactly. It can be a lot to digest, but the key is to start with a solid plan and, stay informed about changes that may affect your benefits. Social Security is evolving, and keeping up with those changes is crucial.
That's true. And it's not just about the numbers or the policy changes, it's about the personal impact. Understanding how to navigate these waters can really change someone's retirement experience for the better.
Well said, Emily. And as we transition into some core strategies for claiming Social Security benefits, it's important to remember that everyone's situation is unique. So tailoring your approach based on your personal goals and circumstances is key.
Absolutely. And that's what we're going to dig into next.
So Emily, when we talk about claiming Social Security benefits, it's really all about strategy, right?
Absolutely, David. I think a lot of people don't realize how important it is to think about the timing of their benefits.
Exactly. For instance, if you claim at 62, your benefits can be reduced by as much as 30% compared to waiting until your full retirement age, which is typically around 66 or 67, depending on when you were born.
Right. And if you can hold off even longer, to age 70, your benefits increase by about 8% each year. So it really pays to think about your personal situation and what might work best for you.
Yes, and keep in mind, the longer you wait to claim, the higher your monthly benefit will be, which can have a huge impact, especially if you live a long time.
That makes sense. So for someone who is in good health and has a family history of longevity, it might be smarter to delay claiming, right?
Definitely. But there are also other factors to consider, like your current financial needs. If you really need that income, it might make sense to claim earlier.
Or if you're still working, claiming early could actually lead to a reduction in benefits based on your earnings.
Exactly. The Social Security Administration has this earnings limit. If you claim before your full retirement age and earn more than $21, $240 in 2023, your benefits will be reduced.
So it's like a balancing act, isn't it? Figuring out when to claim based on your health, your financial needs, and your work situation.
Right. And then there's also the strategy around spousal benefits. If you're married, you can claim spousal benefits based on your partner's work record, which could be beneficial if one spouse has a significantly higher earnings record.
And that can get pretty complex, especially with options like filing a restricted application to only claim spousal benefits while letting your own benefits grow.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing your lifetime Social Security income. And don't forget about survivor benefits. If one spouse passes away, the other can switch to the higher benefit, which can have a significant financial impact.
So it's not just about your own benefits. It's about the whole picture.
Right. And while we're on the topic of income, let's talk about how Social Security fits into your overall retirement strategy. It's important to think about your other sources of income, like pensions, savings, and investments.
Yes, and that's where things like tax-advantaged accounts come in, right?
Absolutely. If you have a 401k or an IRA, you want to think about how you'll draw from those accounts to minimize taxes and maximize your income.
And there's the 4% rule that many people talk about.
Yes, the 4% rule suggests that you can withdraw 4% of your retirement savings each year without running out of money over a 30-year retirement.
So if someone has, say, $1 million saved, they could plan to withdraw about $40,000 a year?
Exactly. But it's important to remember that this is just a guideline. Market conditions and your personal situation can greatly affect how much you should withdraw.
And that's why asset allocation is crucial, right? Like having a balanced portfolio of stocks and bonds?
Right. A common rule of thumb is the 70-30th portfolio, with 70% in stocks and 30% in bonds, especially when you're younger. As you get closer to retirement, you may want to shift to a more conservative approach.
And how does that impact your withdrawal strategy?
Well, a more conservative portfolio will generally be less volatile, which can give you more predictable income. But you have to balance that with growth potential, especially since you might be in retirement for 30 years or more.
So it's really about finding that sweet spot between growth and security.
Exactly. And diversification plays a key role here too. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. So what's a good way to think about diversification?
A well-diversified portfolio includes a mix of asset classes, stocks, bonds, real estate, even some alternative investments. This way, When one part of your portfolio is down, other parts can help cushion the blow.
And you can also consider tax-efficient investments, like Roth IRAs, where you withdraw tax-free in retirement.
Yes, Roth IRAs are fantastic for tax planning, especially if you think you'll be in a higher tax bracket later on. Just remember, there are income limits for contributing to a Roth, so it's worth checking those out.
And speaking of taxes, that leads us to withdrawal strategies. What are some common techniques?
One popular method is the bucket strategy, where you divide your investments into different buckets based on when you'll need the money. For example, cash for short-term needs, bonds for medium-term, and stocks for long-term growth.
That sounds like a smart way to manage risk and ensure you have access to funds when you need them.
Definitely. It helps you avoid having to sell investments during a market downturn.
And then there's the importance of understanding required minimum distributions, or RMDs, especially as you get older.
Yes, you generally must start taking RMDs from your traditional IRA or 401k by age 73. So planning for that can help you avoid unnecessary tax burdens.
With all this talk about planning and strategies, it really shows how crucial it is to have a well-thought-out approach to retirement.
Exactly, Emily. It's about creating a comprehensive plan that considers all these elements.
And speaking of that, what are some common pitfalls people should watch out for as they navigate this process?
So, Emily, one of the most common pitfalls I see people make when planning for retirement is claiming Social Security too early.
Absolutely. That's such a big one. I mean, it's tempting, right? You see that age of 62 and think, why not start collecting now?
Exactly. But what many don't realize is that by claiming early, they're locking in a lower benefit, and it can really affect their income long term.
Right. I remember hearing about a couple, let's call them Tom and Susan. They were so excited to retire and started benefits at 62, but then they struggled financially later because their monthly checks were significantly less than if they had waited.
Yeah, and that's a great example of how short-term thinking can lead to long-term challenges. They didn't factor in their longevity. Both of their parents lived into their 90s.
That's a huge oversight. So it's not just about when to claim, but understanding your own personal situation, right?
Exactly. And another common mistake I see is ignoring taxes in their withdrawal strategy. A lot of retirees think their tax burden will be lower, but
that's not always the case, especially if they're pulling from traditional IRAs or 401ks.
Right, those distributions can really add up. I had a client, let's call her Lisa, who retired and started withdrawing from her traditional IRA without considering taxes, and
she ended up in a higher tax bracket.
Yes, she didn't account for how those withdrawals would affect her overall income. It was a real wake-up call for her.
So what can someone do to avoid that?
Well, it's all about planning ahead. I always recommend working with a financial advisor to create a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy. It's crucial to look at your entire tax situation before making withdrawals.
And speaking of planning, what about healthcare? I know that's something many underestimate.
For sure. Healthcare costs are often one of the biggest surprises for retirees. I remember a couple, John and Mary, who thought they'd budgeted enough for their medical expenses, but
they didn't account for long-term care.
Exactly. They ended up facing some hefty out-of-pocket costs that really strained their retirement savings.
So what's the lesson there?
It's essential to factor in potential healthcare costs and consider long-term care insurance or other saving strategies. You really don't want to leave it to chance.
That makes so much sense. And another area that trips people up is asset allocation.
Yes. A poorly allocated portfolio can lead to significant risks. I had a client, let's call him Mike, who was so conservative in his investments that
he ended up missing out on potential growth.
Exactly! He was overly cautious, especially when the market was on an upswing. It's important to balance risk and reward, especially as you near retirement.
So you're saying it's about finding that sweet spot between growth and security?
Right. You want to ensure your money is working for you, but also have a cushion for when markets fluctuate.
It's a tough balance to strike. And then there's the sequence of returns risk.
Yes, that can be a real game changer. If you experience poor market returns in the early years of retirement, it can really affect the longevity of your portfolio.
I think that's something many people don't fully grasp.
Definitely. I had a couple, let's call them Bob and Alice, who retired just before a market downturn. They were withdrawing from their investments during that time, which...
exacerbated their losses.
Exactly! They ended up having to adjust their lifestyle significantly because their portfolio couldn't recover as quickly as they hoped.
So would you say the key is to have a diversified portfolio and maybe even a cash reserve?
Yes, having a cash reserve can help weather those downturns without having to sell off assets at a loss. It's all about being prepared for the unexpected.
And what about red flags? How can someone spot these issues early on?
Great question. Regular check-ins on your financial plan are essential. If you notice your withdrawals are higher than your income, or if you're relying heavily on credit cards, those are big red flags.
Right, and if you're feeling stressed about money, that's a sign something needs to change too.
Absolutely. It's about being proactive rather than reactive.
So what can listeners do today to start avoiding these common pitfalls?
Well, first, I'd recommend reviewing your Social Security strategy. Look at your personal circumstances and consider delaying benefits if it makes sense for you.
And definitely think about taxes. A tax-efficient withdrawal strategy can save you a lot of headaches down the line.
Exactly. Also, revisit your healthcare planning. Make sure you have a solid plan for those potential costs.
And don't forget about your asset allocation. Make sure it aligns with your risk tolerance and retirement goals.
Yes, and keep an eye on that sequence of returns risk. It's always smart to have a cushion in place.
It sounds like the key takeaway here is to stay informed and proactive, right?
Definitely. Regular reviews and adjustments can help keep you on track and avoid those common pitfalls.
I think that's a perfect way to wrap this up.
Agreed.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed with planning for retirement, just remember, it's never too late to make adjustments and set yourself up for success.
Absolutely. So let's dive right into some immediate steps listeners can take to start claiming Social Security benefits strategically.
Yeah, I mean, it can feel overwhelming, but there are definitely practical things people can do today, right?
Absolutely. First, I'd recommend visiting the Social Security Administration's website, ssa.gov. You can create an account there, which allows you to access your earnings history, get estimates on your benefits, and even apply for benefits online.
That's super helpful. It's like having a financial hub right at your fingertips.
Exactly. And while you're there, check out their calculators. They have a retirement estimator that can give you a really personalized projection based on your actual earnings record.
Oh, that's a great tool.
Another tool to consider is using retirement calculators from investment firms like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Schwab. These can help you run various scenarios based on when you plan to retire, how much you've saved, and your expected expenses in retirement.
Right, and having those projections can really help people visualize their retirement plan.
Yes! And I'd also suggest starting to track your spending habits. There are some great financial planning apps out there, like Mint or Personal Capital, that let you monitor your expenses and see where you can save more for retirement.
That's a good point. It's often those little changes that can add up over time, don't you think?
Definitely. And it's never too late to improve your plan. Even if you're approaching retirement, small adjustments can make a big difference.
So true. And for those who are already retired, reviewing your portfolio quarterly is crucial.
Exactly. Taking a close look at how your investments are performing and adjusting your strategy if needed can help you align with your goals.
And speaking of goals, it's also important to run retirement projections regularly. Checking in on your progress can help you feel more secure about your financial future.
Yes! And don't forget about tax implications too. Using tax software can help you understand how your withdrawals from Social Security or other retirement accounts might affect your overall tax situation.
Good point. People often overlook that.
Right. And if you're looking for more resources, there are some fantastic books and podcasts out there focused on retirement planning. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins is a great read.
Oh, I love that one. It breaks down complex concepts so simply.
And for podcasts, The Retirement Answer Man by Roger Whitney is worth checking out. He covers a variety of topics and often features interviews with experts.
That sounds like a great way to get different perspectives.
Yes. And remember, just starting these habits can lead to significant improvements. Whether it's a simple review of your portfolio or diving into one of those resources, every little bit counts.
Right. And it's all about building that confidence in your retirement strategy.
Exactly. So with these tools in your pocket, you're ready to strengthen your retirement plan. Well, Emily, as we wrap up, let's recap some key points from our discussion on claiming Social Security benefits strategically.
Absolutely, David. One of the biggest takeaways is to really understand your options. Knowing when to claim can make a huge difference in your overall benefits.
Right. And it's also important to consider your personal situation. Factors like your health, financial needs, and even your spouse's benefits can all play a role.
Yeah, and let's not forget about the potential for earning more by delaying benefits. Every year you wait past your full retirement age, your benefits can increase.
Exactly. And that can really add up. Also, keep in mind the impact of taxes on your Social Security benefits. It's crucial to have a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy.
For sure. And finally, don't overlook the importance of reviewing your Social Security statement regularly. It's a good way to stay informed and make the best choices.
Those are some solid takeaways. It's all about being proactive and making informed decisions to build and protect your retirement wealth.
Definitely. Remember, your retirement should be a time to enjoy life, and having a solid plan in place can help you do just that.
And speaking of plans, if you found this episode helpful, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, and comment below with your biggest takeaway or any questions you might have.
Yes, sharing this with someone who's planning for or already in retirement can really help them too.
And next time, we'll dive into a topic that's super exciting: how to build wealth quickly for early retirement.
Can't wait for that. Thanks for joining us today, and we hope you feel more empowered about your Social Security strategy.
Take care, everyone, and until next time, keep focusing on your retirement goals.
Bye for now.